Just to be here.
San Antonio, South Texas.
South Texas.
We had to get out of
Texas.
Texas.
I was in Irving, Texas 2 weeks ago.
Poor thing.
I know, I liked it.
How'd you
Never
get out?
done it before.
They let you go?
There you go.
Okay, this is a very cute space, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to read from After the Gazebo, which is my brand new book. Came out the 31st of May, and I'm going to read one piece from that, and then one piece from my chap, Don't Chase the Elephants, which came out last year. So the first piece was in response to an acrostic issue of the 5th review. Sam Rasnick and Michelle Elvey gave me a beautiful painting, and I can show it to you after. I have to cue it and everything. But they gave me a picture of this beautiful painting that was all stark white in the background with these bold, broad strokes of color in the center. And then in the center of that, there was this really incredibly sad, downtrodden looking face, almost like a mask. And I couldn't really figure out what to write to it. All I had to do was write 1,000 words. I took till the last second to figure out what I was going to write to that. And I was actually in a writing residency in Nebraska, and they were I was just kind of chatting with people, and I started thinking about everything that everybody sacrifices. If you're an artist or a writer or a musician, everything you sacrifice to keep that creative spark going. And so those two things combined into this short story, which is very shorter than so. It is called The White Room. Davis's palms prickle with heat. He stops rubbing his hands together and thinks maybe he should duck out, blend into the thick crowd behind him. He could thread through the lines, slowly disappearing among the thickening masses until no one notices, and he could run home. Creative cleansing seems so abstract, and who wants to sit in a room by himself, even for a few minutes, after all? He glances at the hundreds who wait behind him. 2 prongs, long lines of clean, pedicured feet, barefoot and sandaled, shifting. Most creatives reserve the room for 1 to 5 minutes, and this is supposed to be enough. The inspiration lasts years, possibly a lifetime. So says the small print on the back of the black business card with the gold 3. Davis's 3 minutes are a gift from his agent. He waits, silent as everyone is silent, imagining his old self, the suit and acronym, self-consciousness masked by routine. Hesitant to look back, he notices a woman with perfectly white hair and a tough brown face. He smiles, and the woman's lips press tight, a corner of her mouth lifts slightly. They are both afraid of the emptiness and silence that awaits. "Welcome," the greeter says. She wears a ball cap and yoga pants. Davis stares in her direction, though he can't really make out her face in the shadow of her hat. He studied for months. He read all the literature about the purging, passed the personality profile and emotional IQ test. He signed and emailed his statement of intent. He was told that he could cancel up to 24 hours in advance, was warned that creative energy, once released, causes myriad bodily reactions and irritations. Painful or draining, these side effects are supposed to pass quickly. Meanwhile, Davis imagines the sucking of his very essence, his personal identity erased. He turns to leave. His agent will understand. But the red door opens and the greeter grabs his arm, whispers, "Next." He takes a step forward. Beyond the red, there is nothing but white. Davis enters slowly, noting the softness of the ground, the way it seems to suck at and release his feet, a gentle massage. The walls are solid, but seem to be moving, defined by their corners alone. He can't tell how far or close he is to anything. He takes measured steps toward a small circular cushion near the middle of the room, barely distinguishable. The door closes and the same whisperer tells him there will be a 30-second reorienting session. "Please enjoy," she adds, "and don't forget to breathe." Davis closes his eyes but remembers that he is not supposed to close his eyes, and he opens them again. His pulse throbs and he wants to rush to the door. Demand the soft-voiced woman in yoga pants let him out now. He can no longer tell where the door is, though. His skin itches, his heart screams and spreads, and although he knows the dangers of freaking out, knows he has to center himself, to focus on his core, to remember the mantra he'd been given, all he can feel is a desire to run. Eyes open, the white washes over, and inside of him, coating like good paint, thick and without aroma. Bodies color the wall like a movie, his ex and daughter running after their dog, his writing assignment, first reality, then the characters in a novel due 2 months from today. The images are leaving his body, he realizes. His previously upset stomach settles as his emotions bleed out, his skin calms. The greens, earthy and dark blues, spread out like ink blots, bleed up the white walls and retell of losses and desires. His love, illogical, is not red but black. His anger, muted beige, seems a sort of clog in his veins that resists but releases. His emotions are all outside of him now, crawling up the walls. The purging speeds his heart, then relaxes it. He slumps, trying to feel downcast and alone, as he should from such a state of mind. He curves into himself, a seashell, and frowns so intensely that the strain reshapes his face. It is now time to unwind. Release, a voice says softly. His minutes are up and he must remember to breathe. He shakes his hand and he feels nothing as he looks at the walls, mosaics of his previous self. The numbness inside of him expands. He stands, feels the wall with his hand, tracing a woman's face, his ex-wife. He tries to grab the greens and blues, struggles to feel them again. He wants to grip the floor and press himself into the wall until all of the color returns, or he returns to it, because it is so beautiful. But the door is opening, and what is left on the walls, the regrets and previous loves, the illnesses and joys, pool on the ground and drain out. Davis is escorted out, given a set of directions, but as he drifts along, the paper slips from his hand. Everything seems an empty canvas. The crisp outline of each tree leaf imprints itself onto his mind, and Davis feels each of the small stones massaging his feet through his sandals. He moves heel to toe. Vivid oranges of a setting sun tease the horizon as the star sets, and he breathes its colors. How quickly the world refills the space provided it, he thinks, and how necessary that he define it all. Davis is awestruck as a child, new to the world, taking it all in. A horn honks and tires screech. Mid-step, Davis watches as two cars barely miss each other, swerving to avoid him. He feels a surge of fear, yellow, and moves faster. He hears a child crying and notices the clasped hands of a young couple, bodies leaning in. He walks faster yet, remembering the way home to his family, his deadline. The color inside of him is vibrant and new, and Davis is hungrier than he's ever been.
Yeah.